Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. It's me, Zach McAllister. Today we're doing a tier list of RDL props, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just posted a 15-minute video explaining what RDL props are, where they come from. In general, they're from a company called Juggling. It's an experimental process of creating weird types of juggling props. Some of these are ones that we didn't talk about in the video, some of them we did. I'm just gonna rank them by how cool I think they are. Let's get started. Let's start off with something I know I like, the cup head. Renegade club that has a rounded top, but they cut off the top and flipped it over, and so now it has this big cup on the top, so now you can catch balls on the top of it, but it's still a functioning club. These props that have new functionality without taking away any of the old stuff that they were able to do, that's really top of the line stuff, and this one is just incredibly enjoyable to watch. I'd probably say that this is going to be an S tier prop, not gonna lie. Obvious winner to me. Let's look at something a little bit more weird. We have the square. Who juggles these? Not really anybody, do they? They're cool. It's either a high C or a low B. So for now, we'll just say it's a high C. Triangle, I would say, is a low B in comparison. There's more stuff people do with triangles than there are stuff that people do with squares. Let's do a weird one. The track ring. So this one is it's a ring. It's two rings put together actually, and they're fused together, so it can roll forward and backward, but it also can have a ball on the inside. So if you've ever seen a Salerno ring, that prop where it's a pole and they're balancing it, it's oscillating, and the ball just keeps rotating. It's like that part, but without the rod. This one, I think this has a lot of cool potential. I haven't seen a lot of stuff with it, but just based on the potential it has, I would definitely want to put that above triangle, but purely on the fact that I haven't seen a lot of material with it. I wouldn't give it the A tier yet, but I feel like it has the potential to be an A tier if it wanted to be. Coming in next, we have the teardrop. I don't think there's really much of a purpose behind the teardrop purely other than aesthetic. When the Team RDL shows, they use them to hold out, so that way like they can hold them out and Jay can run his arms through all of them. I think it would be cool to see people doing stuff where they're juggled like clubs. Like I said, I've never had these in hand. I've never seen these used other than in that specific situation. So it's kind of similar to the track ring, where I would probably give it a B tier. I feel like it has more potential than the triangle, if I'm being honest. Here we have a flathead club. I have a weird bone to pick with the flathead club. It's not very flat. It's not the most flat club on this list. You know, the cup head is flatter for these types of things, and like the goal is to be able to set it up flat and then roll it and be able to set it flat again. These are easier to keep flat on the floor on end than these are, so I don't know why this club exists. There's another club that's better that does the same job as this club. Do I think it's like just ultimately like a bad, like it's not the worst prop there is. It feels like a club that doesn't really do its job as well as it could. Holy Club. Let's talk about the Holy Club. Possibly the most iconic cult classic, A tier. I think it's cool. I think it's really, really innovative, and it's really cool that it's a club and then it has this extra functionality to it. And I think the things that Jay was able to create with it, really, really cool stuff. The only reason I think the cup head is better is because it's a little bit more accessible visually. The clubs going into the other clubs is kind of like, it's almost like too much to handle. Inner pentagon ring. Like, I genuinely don't know what to say about this. It's just a ring, but the inside part is a pentagon. They did not make a full pentagon ring, they only made an inner pentagon ring. So this one's purely aesthetic. There. D+ ring, I think this one has a lot of potential. The juggler I've seen use these the most is Jackson Ford, and you can plug in a club into that hole, you can catch a ball on that hole. I think it's pretty cool. I think I've seen way more stuff with this than I have with the track ring. I might be inclined to put it above the track ring. This has shown off to me more potential than what the track ring has. Okay, this is a big favorite of mine right here. These are the two intersecting rings. This one was never sold. I'd say the only issue with these is they're kind of bulky, which might be cool. I don't know. I've never had them in hand. I love the way they roll on the ground. I love the way they link together. I think it's super mechanical, and it's the same type of complaint I have with the Holy Club. It might not be as accessible to understand. The type of stuff you do with these rings are very mechanical, all connected in one big piece, one big clump. But I love the way that it works very much like a gear, and you can see the rotational element of it. The D ring. This is the D plus ring, but instead of the plus, it's just a straight line down the middle. This is one of those that I don't have a lot to say about because I don't think I've ever seen it before. But if I had to guess, I probably wouldn't give it much. Okay, here's the thing. The D plus ring, it has the hole, which to me justifies the two lines. But since there's no hole in the middle, the lines there, they only make things more complicated for the prop, because then you have to worry about the rotational element. It's like a club almost now. So maybe you could link them together, but I don't think it would be quite as worth it. It doesn't look like the most pleasing shape to me. I'd probably put it below the square. We have the octagon, another one that I just don't think really belongs. The octagon ring is another ring that I just don't think really has a lot of unique attributes to it. We're getting so detailed with these number of sides that it's a little hard to understand what's happening. Probably put it above the D ring. The dodecagon ring, I think that's what it's called. This one's ridiculous. I don't really know what's going on with this. Somehow I think I like it more than the octagon, because I think it's like ridiculous at that point to have the jaggedness, because you spin it really fast and it'll look really weird. I still would probably place it below the octagon. The C tier is becoming the ranking for things that I don't really understand, that I don't know how to rank as well. And the nano ring is another thing I've never seen before, in video or in person or online. Never seen a picture other than this picture right here. And it's just these weird tiny rings. So you can see that tiny one, like it looks like, could be like very small, very tiny ring. You know, there's something about the fact that it's a really tiny ring. I'm just going with my gut. I think that'd be cooler to me personally than the octagon or dodecagon or D ring. This is one you can't really tell what it is, but hopefully I can explain it to you. Two rings and they're grooved together, similar to the other ones that are intersecting, but they're intersecting only at one point instead of both fused together in one object. It's kind of a bulky object. It's not the best. Obviously, I don't think you would really throw this that much, but I really love the way it rolls on the floor, similar to the way that these roll on the floor. I'm not feeling it as much as I was. Probably put it below triangle. This one's ridiculous. This is the one, like, I have no idea what you could do with this. It's like an 8 ring, but it's a double pentagon. I don't know. I'm putting that in the F tier. Just basically because I don't understand. 8 ring isolation material, but how is isolation gonna work with a pentagon? I have no idea. Ooh, the Flipsy Doodle. The Flipsy Doodle square. Eric Oberry does stuff with these. These were never on the website. They were never for sale. Very specialized looking prop. Out of all of these shapes we've talked about this far, this has gotta be like the most ridiculous if you were ever gonna get it shipped. An entire square this direction and an entire square this direction. But I really love the way that it flips over whenever he's doing stuff with them. It's kind of more just like an imagery thing than a juggling thing. And he does juggle them, but I don't think the juggling portion looks particularly that memorable. I'm gonna put it in B tier. You know what? I'd probably put it above this twin shape. We got the linked rings. There's a lot of different variations of this, but this is typically a Jay Gilligan prop, and I'm sure this isn't originally an RDL thing. The idea of linking multiple rings together and doing juggling things with them, that's got to have been done before. Conceptually, it sounds like a cool idea. The idea of having 3 props all connected sounds really cool, until I look and see how bulky it is, and then it doesn't really feel like juggling at all. Like there's one trick he does, and I'm like, that's a cool orbiting pattern that he does, and I've seen like there's like some balance things you can do with them, but overall I'm not as excited about these as a lot of these other shapes. I probably would put it below, right there. Alright, and finally, we have my favorite shape, the twin clutch Easy S tier, top of the line. This thing is super fun to watch. I'd love to build one of these, or like, I guess I would need to build 3 of them. The way they link together, super cool, but they also fly funny. When they're in the air, they look really good. They look funny like in a good way. I think this looks pretty good. I know you were angry at me for my last tier list. Do you agree with this tier list? Do you not? Please, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you want a tier list of next, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd like to give a shout out to all my Patreons out there. You supported this video. Thank you for all of your support. If you would like to support videos like this, then please consider subscribing to my Patreon. You can get exclusive content. Also, if you haven't, be sure to check out my new video, Joyride to Heaven, for free on Vimeo. Throw your mouse into that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next time.